huge day today for any MP, arguably the most significant vote you and your colleagues will have ever taken part in. Just remind us how and why you'll be voting.
I will be voting against the withdrawal agreement because it keeps us potentially in a customs union without an end date, divides up the United Kingdom between Northern Ireland and Great Britain, and pays $39 billion for nothing in return.
The message from the Prime Minister and a number of her allies is that if you don't vote for the deal tonight, you risk no Brexit at all, because the one thing that's become clear in recent weeks is that the only thing there seems to be a majority for is against a no deal.
Parliament legislated for no deal. So all these people are coming out of woodwork and saying, oh, we're against no deal. Well, how did they vote last June on the Withdrawal Act? That is the consequence of the Withdrawal Act. And it's also the consequence of exercising Article 50, which had an even larger majority in Parliament. So people are now saying, oh, we voted for this thing, but we did it by mistake. I mean, it's a very strange argument for them to make, because leaving without a deal is the legal fallback position if no deal can be passed through Parliament.
If you were in Theresa May's ear, let's say, as expected, she loses the vote, and let's say she turned to you and you had a few minutes to tell her what to say, what would be the message that you would want her to take from yourself and I guess the wider ERG?
Well, I wouldn't expect to be in that position, but I think there is a clear answer, and that is you go back to the EU and say, look, we will give you £39 billion in return for a trade deal. Here's the type of trade deal we would like, based on the precedent of trade deals that you have done before, which in shorthand is Super Canada. This is something we think it's worth paying for, and then we will have a standstill period to implement this, and we will be ready to go by the end of the implementation period, say the same date as she's got in her agreement, which is the end of 2020. So there is an alternative that follows EU legal precedent that could be successful for the United Kingdom. That's what I would propose.
Now, the European Union could come back and say, well, yes, but we need Article 50 to be extended to have more time to thrash out that negotiation. Would that be a red line for you?
I don't think there is a need for more time, because you would simply be saying, this is what you've agreed with other countries. We're not asking for anything more, and we're asking for the same type of implementation period that has already been agreed, so there's no change there. We'll do exactly the same on citizens' rights. There's no need to change that. There are bits of the withdrawal agreement that could be kept. It's primarily the backstop, the money and the court that present the difficulties.
When we look at this whole thing, you of course were a very high-profile campaigner to leave the European Union. There seem to be arguments, or there are arguments going on in the House of Commons right now, exactly what Brexit looks like. The referendum was a very clear choice, and now there are so many options on the table. Do you think we will leave the European Union on March the 29th?
Yes, I do, and that's what people voted for. And ultimately, the argument's no longer so much about the form of Brexit, it's about, are we still a democracy? When you have a referendum and you have it validated by a general election, do you do what people voted for, or do a few MPs say, actually, no, really, we know best and we must stop it?
But some would say you're in those few MPs, we know best, because a number of Brexiteers are voting with the Prime Minister.
Well, people voted to leave. They didn't vote for a deal, they voted to leave. And this deal doesn't actually make us leave cleanly.
Thank you very much.
Okay.